Absolutely. There's a risk of deregistration of about 300 parties by the Office of Registrar of Political Parties, some because of non-compliance. We have details lined up for you. And the conversation really narrows down to what is being done to ensure that Kenya's democratic space is protected. Augustus Muli is the party leader of the National Liberal Party, that is NLP, and we'll be having that conversation. Plus, there are elections coming for the Political Parties Liaison Committee, and that is from the 6th of next month. That should be next week?
Yeah, of November.
Good.
And also it would be interesting to know whether this party actually meet the threshold as inscribed in the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties Act of 2011 of existing 90 plus.
Absolutely. But first things first, the highlights.
Yeah.
Graft Phantom. ESCC detectives raid Nyamira Governor Amos Nyaribo's home and offices over alleged misuse of 382 million shillings.
The National Treasury communicated the grant of additional funding under Supplementary 1 to the tune of 3.1 billion, leaving a deficit currently now of 3.723 billion.
National Exams Dilemma. Education CS tells Parliamentary Committee that Ministry is facing a funding deficit of 3.7 billion shillings to effectively manage the ongoing exams. And Tanzania decides. Chaos rocked Dar es Salaam during election day as protesters call for reforms.
Thanks for making KBC Channel 1 your channel of choice this Wednesday evening. This is Prime Edition. I'm Doreen Arange. Caroline Jeroge is our sign language interpreter.
And my name is John Jacob Curia. You're very much welcome to the broadcast. To start us off, the Ministry of Education says it is facing a funding deficit of 3.7 billion shillings to effectively manage the ongoing national examinations.
This was revealed by Education CS Julius Ogamba, who was appearing before the National Assembly Education Committee to give insights on the status of preparedness for the national examinations.
Our Parliamentary Affairs reporter Tilio Marco has the report.
Appearing before the Julius Meli-led committee, Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Ogamba expressed concerns over a funding deficit of 3.7 billion shillings to manage the examinations. According to the CS, the National Examinations Council's approved recurrent budget for this financial year had an allocation of 5.9 billion shillings for national assessments and examinations against a total requirement of 12.723 billion shillings.
8.008 billion for KCSE, 3.566 billion for KJSEA, and Kenya shillings 1.062 billion for KEPSEA, and 87.3 million for school-based assessments. The deficit was therefore 6.8 billion once the 5.9 billion was allocated. In September 2025, however, the National Treasury communicated the grant of additional funding under Supplementary 1 to the tune of 3.1 billion, leaving a deficit currently now of 3.723 billion.
The Cabinet Secretary was also at pains to explain the fate of about 29 schools which are yet to receive capitation funds and plans in place for them to manage the national examinations.
And if it is the issue of numbers, if you are saying they are less than 40 or less than what, they are Kenyans, they are supposed to sit for exams.
It is the right thing to do. You've raised the issue of the 29 schools. Let us find the status of them. Maybe some of them are not having students to do exams.
Pass information pertaining those schools by the end of the date tomorrow, PCS. Yes. You be able to tell us the status of each schools. We shall sit as a committee using our own means as Parliament to ascertain the issues you brought before us.
As regards the ongoing rains, Ogamba said they had put in place measures to ensure examination papers are delivered and plans were in motion to develop a policy to utilize drone technology to deliver the examination papers.
We have choppers on standby, and we have a command center at NEC where when these particular officers come across such a challenge, they would call the command center and a chopper would be dispatched to ensure that the examination papers are delivered.
Ogamba said the ministry anticipates to release KPSEA and KJSEA results by December, while the KCSE results are expected to be out by January 2026. Tilio Marco for Prime Edition.
On matters education, the government has put stringent measures in place to curb any exam irregularities as the Kenya Junior School Education Assessment, KJSEA, as well as Kenya Primary School Education Assessment, KPSEA, continues across the country.
Speaking after presiding over the opening of examinations at the office of a Deputy County Commissioner in Starehe Sub-County on Wednesday, Interior Principal Secretary Dr. Raymond Omolo warned individuals who might be involved in exam malpractices, saying they will face dire consequences.
Timothy Kipnusu has that report.
Day 3 of the Kenya Junior School Education Assessment KJSEA and the last day of the Kenya Primary School Education Assessment KPSEA. Interior Principal Secretary Dr. Raymond Omolo was here to oversee the opening of the examinations at Starehe Deputy County Commissioner's office in Nairobi. The PS said the examination is going on smoothly across the country, except for a few challenges in some parts of the country.
We have not had any major incidents worth worrying about. And this is because of the good coordination and collaboration that has happened between all the players, starting with the Ministry of Education.
He revealed that the short rains in some areas have affected the distribution of the examination papers.
In the case of, because the short rains have just begun, so there are challenges of access to certain places where we've had delay in the distribution of examination papers. But again, the teams have worked around the clock to ensure that the integrity of the assessment or the examination is not compromised.
The PS, who later visited Park Road Primary School to monitor the administering of the exams at the school, said his ministry, in collaboration with the Ministry of ICT, is working around the clock to ensure the social media platforms are not used to advance exam cheating.
We have the team from ICT. Of course, we are also looking at issues of just the use of social media to try to pretend, where people are pretending to be sharing information, and even collecting money from unsuspecting, whether it's parents, whether it's teachers, whether it is students. And where we've found breaches or where we'll come across those breaches, we'll be able to act appropriately.
Invigilators and supervisors who are invigilating the assessments, they are not teachers of this particular school or that school where they come from. These are teachers who have been sourced from different schools. And so we cannot have that kind of thing happening.
Park Road Primary School Senior Head Teacher Mary Muhari has however called on the government to help ensure schools faced with electricity challenge are assisted for a seamless exercise.
And that's the reason why you can see a generator outside with all the noise, the one we are using in the school. We light it up for the learners to do exam and to learn even other days in the morning. For about 2 hours or 3 hours in the morning. So that means that we have to buy fuel every day, not less than 2,000, to run this generator. It has been a very stressful situation in the school.
Elsewhere, 17 teenage girls in Igembe constituency, Meru County, sat for their grade 6 examinations KPSEA in maternity wards at Nyambene Hospital.
Wapea mawaidha, wanawaelekeza vile ambavyo watalinda hawa watoto wao, sababu hawa ni watu ambao ni wachanga sana, na pia wanawasaidia sababu tungependa kwa wale ambao ishafanyika kwamba wamepata hiyo mimba, tuone vile ambavyo tutaweza kuwapatia support.
Over 1.2 million learners in grade C are sitting for the Kenya Primary School Education Assessment KPSEA, while 1.13 million learners grade 9 are writing the inaugural Kenya Junior School Education Assessment KJSEA. That will determine placement in senior schools, previously known as high schools. As the examination for the Kenya Primary School Education Assessment for grade 6 as well as a Kenya Junior School Education Assessment for grade 9 continues, the government through the Ministry of Education as well as the Ministry of Interior has read a riot act to officers and center managers who might be involved in exam cheating, saying they will face full force of the law once found. Timothy Kipnusu for Prime Edition, Nairobi.
Now let's switch gears to some politics tied to development, and President William Ruto has urged Kenyans to reject politicians attempting to sow divisions through exclusionary rhetoric.
The head of state affirmed that under his leadership, no region will be marginalized in matters of development.
He was speaking in Nakuru County during a walking tour.
William Samoei Ruto, wapi makofi!
Wednesday in Nakuru County, President William Ruto, who is on a walking tour of the county, faulted a section of a political class for creating rifts among communities, calling on Kenyans to reject agents of disunity.
Tusikubali kuletewa siasa ya migawanyiko na ukabila na ubaguzi. Sisi wote ni watu wa taifa moja. Na mimi kama kiongozi wa taifa letu la Kenya, kazi yangu ni kuunganisha jamii zote za Kenya. Wakenya wote kutoka kaunti zote, kutoka madini zote, kwa sababu Mungu anajua ni kwa sababu gani sisi wote ni watu wa taifa moja, taifa la Kenya.
Seemingly responding to remarks by Nyeri Governor Mutahi Kahiga, who alleged regional exclusion since the inception of inclusive government, President Ruto reiterated his administration's unwavering commitment to equitable development across all counties.
Na mambo ya maendeleo pia nitahakikisha hakuna sehemu ya Kenya inawachwa nyuma. Kila sehemu tuweze kugawa maendeleo sawa sawa, tuhakikishe kwamba kuna usawa katika taifa letu, ndio Kenya iweze kuinuka, sisi wote tujivunie kuwa wananchi wa taifa letu la Kenya.
He emphasized that he remains unfazed by the 2027 general elections and his re-election prospects, stating that Kenyans will ultimately judge his leadership based on tangible development outcomes.
Unajua saa hizi maneno ile iko hapa ni ile kazi mlitupatia. Si nyinyi ndio mnachagua MCA? Si mnachagua mbunge? Si mnachagua governor? Si mnachagua rais? Na si kila mtu wako na kazi? Ama na nyinyi si ndio walimu? Si mtihani iko 2027? Si kila mtu atapimwa na ile kazi amefanya? Ama namna gani?
Ameleta barabara, amekuja kuongezea stima, amesema anatafuta title deed zetu, amesema atatujengea soko ya hapa, hata kama ile ingine inaendelea ajenge ingine hapa. Rais amefanya vizuri, yeye ni fire si fire, ni noma si noma, aendelea si endelee.
Sisi hatuna wakati wa siasa, sasa ni wakati wa kazi. Wakati huo mwingine ukifika, si hata nyinyi mnatujua, siasa hiyo tutasukuma.
From that, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission on Wednesday raided the houses and offices of Nyamira Governor Amos Nyaribo and several top county officials over the alleged misuse of 382 million shillings meant for the construction of the county government offices.
Speaking to the press at the EACC regional offices in Kisii, EACC South Nyanza Regional Manager Ignatius Wekesa confirmed that the commission had executed more than 5 court warrants against Governor Nyaribo and 4 other senior county officers.
The coordinated operation, which stretched across Nyamira, Kisii and Nairobi, is part of an ongoing investigation into suspected procurement irregularities and questionable payments.
Ben Chumba has that report.
Wednesday morning, officers from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission descended on multiple locations linked to Nyamira County's top leadership. Governor Amos Nyaribo's official residence and offices were among the targets in the simultaneous raids, part of an operation seeking to recover crucial documents and digital data tied to a 382 million shillings construction project.
We have effected more than 5 court warrants, such warrants, against the governor of Nyamira, Honorable Amos Nyaribo, and 4 other senior officers from the same county. This is in furtherance to the ongoing various investigations concerning that particular county of Nyamira.
The investigations relate to the irregular tendering for the construction of the Nyamira County government offices awarded to Spentech Engineering Limited, which is alleged to have received payments in excess of the actual work completed. EACC says that the governor may have irregularly authorized payments to himself, totaling 18 million shillings.
It has been a successful day because we have been able to recover a lot of valuable and critical documents and investigations which are going to assist us to ensure that we fill all the gaps that we have that are existing in the current investigations.
During the operation, 4 senior officers from key departments including finance, public works and physical planning were also arrested and are assisting with the investigations.
Once we are through with the investigation, we will write a report to the Director of Public Prosecutions for purposes of seeking consent or concurrence with whatever recommendation that we will have put in that particular file. And therefore, for now, I can only say that we will continue and expedite the investigations that are ongoing. I know there are several. Some are at the tail end, others are at the advanced stages.
The Nyamira operation comes months after EACC revealed it was probing at least 9 governors. Ben Chumba, Prime Edition.
And now the Ministry of Health says it will not relent in pursuing individuals and health facilities filing fraudulent health insurance claims.
Health CS Aden Duale, who was grilled by the Senate Health Committee on the status of the country's healthcare system, revealed investigations were at an advanced stage on those behind the syndicate, saying soon they will release the list of shame of top officials behind the scam.
The Health Cabinet Secretary was on Wednesday put to task to explain, among other issues, the overall financial oversight of SHA days after the ministry submitted files on fraudulent claims.
We have submitted 118 files to the DCI, and I am sure, including some of the staff of SHA, a number have been taken to court, and you might be seeing very big people going to court either this week or next week.
Concerns over rejected claims, especially from public hospitals, were also rife on the agenda, with senators questioning the effectiveness of the digital system in identifying false claims.
I was at a public event in a place called Kapkatet a few weeks ago, and the citizens raised concern with me and said, Senator, of all the claims that we have filed, almost 50% are being rejected. What is it that SHA expects of us as a health facility to do?
While acknowledging the rejection of claims, CS Duale attributed it to failure by health facilities to make available documents such as claim forms and discharge summary sheets when requesting reimbursement.
If you convert outpatients into inpatients, that is the biggest fraud. There are Kenyans who go, they are treated, they go home, then the facility turns them into inpatients because they want to claim the bed. They want 5 days. But now, going forward, they cannot do it.
The session almost degenerated into war of words when the CS accused some senators of politicizing the disbursement of funds to hospitals.
Waziri, can you use this forum to tell the naysayers and doomsayers, including Senator of Muranga, that SHA is working? Mr. Speaker, I find it painful that many people out there are quick to say SHA is not working.
They want to play to the gallery and expect me to say SHA is working when St. Mary's Hospital is still closed. You want me, Senator Jerege, I heard you. You want it's working.
Senator Boni.
Yes.
Senator Boni.
Can you contain him? The minister, you have a chance to clarify today. What interest does the chairman of SHA have in the so-called Metro group of companies, in the so-called Metropolitan Hospital and /stroke Labdan Hospital?
The chairman of SHA is called Dr. Abdi, and Dr. Kalwale knows. Dr. Abdi does not own any facility. If he owns a facility and you have approved, we will remove him as a chair of SHA.
And Dutch national Elwin ter Horst will be arraigned in court to face appropriate legal action after being captured on video abusing and demeaning a police officer.
In the video that has made rounds on social media, the visibly agitated Dutch national is seen hurling insults at officers at the Diani police station, an incident that has been condemned by the National Police Service.
While lauding the officers for exercising restraint, the service said it won't hesitate to take action on anyone found culpable of undermining its authority.
I don't want to see your ugly face anymore. Make a sound, make it fucking...
It's a video that has attracted condemnation and widespread reaction since it made rounds on social media. Dutch national Elwin ter Horst was caught on camera assaulting a police officer.
You want to go against me? Go on. I'll hit you.
What, however, stood out was the officer's composure and restraint in a situation that may have otherwise escalated. Today, Mr. Horst is calm and apologetic. He has been placed in custody and is set to be arraigned in court to face appropriate legal action.
Apology. I had a psychosis.
In a statement, the National Police Service condemned the Dutch national for directly abusing and demeaning the officers, terming the act as crass, despicable and utterly unacceptable. This even as the service lauded the officers for exercising restraint and displaying professionalism and composure in the face of extreme provocation. Their conduct was hailed as a reflection of the high level of discipline and maturity expected of a law enforcement officer and serves as a model for others to emulate. NPS says the reforms in the service continue to enhance professionalism, accountability and respect for human rights within the service. NPS, however, says the service will not hesitate to take firm action and lawful action against any individual that undermines police authority or interferes with the officers discharging their duties. Members of the public are being urged to cooperate with police officers and to channel any grievances or complaints through the established accountability mechanisms as opposed to resorting to abusive or violent behavior. Isofar reporting for Prime Edition.
Kutoka mji wa mpakani wa Busia hadi mji wa mpakani wa Moyale, mazungumzo yanaendelea. Safari hii, mazungumzo ya kizazi, yani transgenerational conversation, inatua kaunti ya mpakani Taita Taveta. Tukutane, tusikilize, tuzungumze na tuelewane. Mpango mzima utakuwa Alhamisi tarehe 30 mwezi huu kuanzia saa 1:30 jioni, moja kwa moja kutoka Dan Mwazo Social Hall, Voi. Kumbuka, utapata fursa ya kusema jina lako, kuuliza swali na kujibiwa papo hapo. Mazungumzo haya yameletwa kwenu na KBC kwa ushirikiano na NCIC, Korea International Cooperation Agency na UNDP.
There you go. That's for you.
What?
All I get is a what?
Wewe ni mnoma, wewe ni fire.
Shh. Kwa hivyo Jabali hawezi.
Asante sana. Asante. Nimeshukuru.
Trust. It seems so far your plan is working.
What plan?
Those drugs in those boxes are not licensed.
How risky is it?
What is she grilling you about?
Ni nani?
Wacha nikuje. Jemedari wants to come here. We discuss his medical report.
Daktari, nipe tu dakika moja tu.
Nitie mke wangu.
Welcome back. You're watching the Prime Edition. Now, police in Tanzania's main city, that is Dar es Salaam, have fired tear gas to disperse opposition supporters protesting against the general election taking place in the East African state.
The election is expected to be an easy win for President Samia Suluhu and her ruling party, as the main opposition leader is in jail on treason charges.
Protesters are calling for reforms and free political activity in the country.
It's election day in Tanzania.
These have been the scenes as opposition supporters protested against the general election. The opposition is accusing the government of undermining democracy. The opposition leader Tundu Lissu is in jail on treason charges, which he denies, and his party has since boycotted the vote. The only other serious contender, Luhaga Mpina of the ACT Wazalendo Party, was disqualified on legal technicalities. Several people have been injured in the confrontation after a group of protesters gathered along major highways to demand electoral reforms and free political activity. Protesters lit fires on roads, vandalized buses, and caused extensive damage to bus terminals and other public infrastructure. Dar es Salaam Regional Commissioner Alfred Kalamila warned that the government would take strong actions against those disrupting peace in the city. A police spokesperson assured the public there was no threat to their safety, saying people should come out and vote. More than 37 million registered voters are eligible to cast their ballots in the presidential and parliamentary election. Samir's ruling party CCM has dominated the country's politics and has never lost an election since independence. Ahead of the election, rights groups condemned government repression, with Amnesty International citing a wave of terror involving enforcement disappearance, torture, and extrajudicial killings of opposition figures. The government rejected the claims, and officials said the election would be free and fair. Reporting for Prime Edition, I'm Aaron Marie.
All right. To our weekly feature, Cinemas and Theatre. A group of young filmmakers in Dadaab, Garissa County, is using the power of storytelling through film to spark conversations on climate change.
Their film, Field of Dust and Dreams, captures the unwavering spirit of young footballers who chase their ambitions across the hot sandy beaches, or other pitches of the camp, despite harsh weather conditions.
Jacqueline Masharia has prepared that.
Ashar Mohammed, the head coach of Al Mansour United Football Club.
Set in the Dadaab refugee complex, specifically in Ifo, Field of Dust and Dreams highlights the resilience of young footballers determined to pursue their dreams.
And this 75%.
Through the voices of Al Mansour United's coach, a dedicated player, and a climate change champion, the film explores how sport brings hope, unity, and refuge in a place with limited opportunities after school.
People love football in this area. You can see it. You wake up at 8 a.m., you go, let's say you're leaving the Dadaab to Ifo, you find kids playing football in very dusty fields. And they love football. But the dust we have, it's very windy, there are dust storms. So the Fields of Dust and Dreams shows that there's a passion, but there are downsides to it, and there are ways to mitigate it. For example, planting trees around fields.
Bright future is ahead of them. They struggle, they fail, they race.
Field of Dust and Dreams was produced by students of the Film Aid Kenya Media and Entrepreneurship Training Program in Dadaab, Garissa County. Trainer Bernard Omwaka from Film Aid Kenya notes that the program is shaping a new generation of storytellers who are using film as a tool for education and social change.
It ends with showing that despite all this, the youth still keep playing and there's a future for them. And there are success stories. There are players that have come from here and play abroad right now and play in bigger leagues. And so there's still a hope. And despite the challenges here, despite the lack of opportunities because of the refugee status, people can still find hope through recreation, and sports is very important.
The film was recently screened during the 18th edition of the Film Aid Annual Film Festival 2025, alongside two other student productions that captured life and resilience within the Dadaab refugee camp.
Something like dumping of plastic bags, failure to plant trees, is something that takes time for people to understand. But with community effort, for example, whatever Gideon Momanyi says in the production is very key. So if people follow such advice, you plant vegetation. For example, he says planting sweet potatoes can help in breaking the wind, so to avoid dust storms. So planting such vegetation is very key. So if people start following such advice, it will be good.
Cup called Champions Cup, and these are the first champions that was brought.
Despite challenges ranging from extreme weather to limited resources, the film reveals how the passion for football continues to thrive, inspiring success stories that reach beyond the borders of the camp.
A good example was one of my players from Al-Mansur United, who is now currently in Australia.
It's a story of resilience, climate awareness, and the unyielding power of dreams.
If you got a chance to go into abroad, you can proceed to your talent and showcase your talent.
Jacqueline Masharia for cinemas and theatre.
Whereby tomorrow we may watch you in the screens and support you. One good thing.
Thank you very much, Jacqueline Masharia, for that piece. Time for us now to get into a conversation. Every Wednesday, we always have a conversation that seeks to enrich public debate. Augustus Muli is the national party leader of the National Liberal Party, that is NLP, and we're here to talk about political parties and the future thereof. Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Karibu sana. I mean, like about a month ago, you released a statement saying that there was a plan that was being mooted to deregister about 300 parties. What is the status of those political parties now? Because then they were on the verge of being deregistered. Are they being still deregistered?
Yes. But before saying that, let me clarify where all this is coming from.
Okay.
Article 4 of our Constitution establishes what Kenya is. Kenya is a sovereign republic and a multi-party democratic state. Multi-party. And this article did not just come about. It came from the sweat and blood of our nationalists, including people like the late Raila Amolo Odinga. May his soul rest in peace.
Amen.
They fought so that Kenya can be a multi-party democracy. So any attempt by anybody to take us back to pre-1992 days, the days of one-party state, must be condemned by every Kenyan. Now, the state of the matter is that a number of weeks ago, we now have a new registrar.
Okay.
The former registrar issued letters, compliance letters, to 85% of all political parties.
Anderito?
No, not Anderito. That was before.
Okay.
Just the former, just immediate former. Now, the current registered political parties are 92, so not 300. The fully registered political parties now are 92.
They're fully compliant?
Fully compliant.
Okay.
Because for you to be registered, you be fully compliant, having the number of offices, number of members. Now, 85% of those got non-compliance letters on one, number of minimum numbers per county, two, number of offices for each of those parties. Now, you must know why this is a big issue. 54 parties out of the 92 do not get any funding at all. They don't have any resources. So they are working slowly as part of the multi-party democracy, and they are not being helped by anybody. Now, there is a body that was established after the 2007 violence, post-election violence, so that we have conversation, so that we maintain multi-party democracy. So there should be negotiation, there should be dialogue between the registrar of political parties, the IBC, and all the political parties. Without that dialogue, when one organ just says these parties are going to be deregistered because of this and that, that's what we are condemning.
The body you're referencing is the Political Parties Liaison Committee?
Yes, the PPLC.
And you're saying that in the course of this non-compliance issued by the Office of Registrar of Political Parties, PPLC did not intervene to initiate dialogue?
It hasn't intervened.
Okay.
And again, that brings us to where we are now. We have got the current leadership of the PPLC, the Political Parties Liaison Committee, which has overstayed, actually. They've been in leadership for over 5 years. And it's their role to engage the registrar of political parties, to engage the IBC. Now we are preparing for 2027 elections. Where is the communication, the dialogue between the IBC and all the political parties? There isn't. And this is exactly why PPLC was formed, to provide that dialogue, that platform where the registrar of political parties, the IBC, can talk, can engage for this safety of this country, to make sure there's democracy, so that to make sure there's peace. So when there's that breakdown, then you see what's happening now, where the registrar feel they can just say these parties are going to be deregistered. This is where we are now.
Let me ask, because by the time you're being elected as chairperson of the political parties liaison committee, or even committee members, I presume you must belong to a political party.
You must belong to a political party.
Does it mean then that the comfort under which the current leadership of PPLC operates is because their parties are compliant?
No, not really. I can't say that. I think it's what we would call, in other terms, state capture.
Yes.
I think there's what is called complacency, whereas the leadership, they start taking for granted why they are in office. They are supposed to be there to make sure that all political parties are safe, all political parties are compliant, all political parties are vibrant. Without that vibrancy, and there's another argument that there are too many political parties in this country. No. 92 parties is not too much. Countries like India have over 2,000 political parties. Countries like the US, they have over 238 state-level parties and thousands more at local level. So what we have is, again, why do we have the political parties? Why should we have all these political parties? All these political parties provide, they are not just there to win elections. They are not just there to provide candidates. They are there to bring different ideologies. For example, the National Liberal Party, my party, brings the liberal ideology. The Mazingira Party, founded by the late Wangari Maathai, is about the environment. The Communist Party promotes that ideology. So when people feel that we've got too many political parties, that is wrong. We need all this so that our community can be cohesive, our community can live together. Just the way we have different religions. The more religions we have, the more people get to express themselves in the different ways.
And diversity.
So any attempt to redirect any political party, for whatever reason, without going through the right process, is what we are challenging.
And I believe it is against this backdrop that you're seeking the chairmanship of a political parties liaison committee. Let me ask you a direct question.
Yes.
Because you will still have this problem of parties that are regarded in the true letter and the spirit of the law to be non-compliant.
Yes.
Because you've talked about the minimum number of counties they ought to have, the number of members they ought to have.
Yes.
How are you going to help political parties, particularly these ones that are on the verge of deregistration, let's use that term, to be compliant and to continue being fully functional?
The aim here should not be to deregister them. The aim should be, how do we promote them? How do we support them? Even if they're not compliant, how do we support them to be compliant? For example, what I have done, I have brought together 62 political parties, what many people would call the smaller political parties. And we've said, what can we do to be compliant? Most of them cannot afford offices. So we have said, we are going to make an MOU. The same as Kenya Kwanza and ODM did. They made a working MOU. So the 62 political parties, we've come together and we've made an MOU where we've agreed we are going to share our offices. So we've put into one basket over 40 offices. So we are going to share all those offices in an MOU, such that you go to an office in Mombasa, you find one office there being shared by 10 political parties. What are the requirements of an office? An office must have the signage to show that this is for this political party. It must have all the documents of the party in that office. So we are going to make sure we are compliant in that we have all the requirements that every office needs to have.
One would argue that is trying to beat the system.
Yes, we must beat the system so that we can all fit. We must all hold each other. You see, what the government should not be trying to destroy, should be trying to find excuses for us all to coexist. And that's what we are going to hold each other's hand.
Okay.
This you call smaller parties. We are going to hold each other's hand, and we are going to make sure we are all compliant.
All right. Last Saturday, you launched your campaign manifesto for the position of chairmanship of the PPLC. I mean, this was the first time seeing that happen, because there have been elections for the positions of PPLC chair and membership.
Yes.
But in about a minute, what are the core values of your campaign, or what is this that you're promising, particularly the small parties that are hinging their hope on you?
You see, this body, the PPLC, is embedded in the Constitution and is supposed to be protecting all the political parties. If you remember what happened last year, there was the impasse on the IBC selection panel. And that came from the political parties liaison committee. They did not agree on who should represent the Azimio coalition, for example. This could have been solved if the PPLC had a strong secretariat, if it had a very clear mandate and it was non-partisan. So it happened that some part of the leadership was partisan. And that's why we had the whole issue. So while I'm coming
Part of the leadership of PPLC was
PPLC secretariat. Yes.
That's so your removal from the IBC selection panel?
Yes.
Okay.
You see, the PPLC should have stood its ground and said, this matter is not about Azimio. This matter is about political parties liaison committee. We take charge. If the PPLC had taken charge, the country would not have gone through 8 months of confusion. This is what I want to bring on board. I want to bring strong leadership, non-partisan. You cannot be partisan. You cannot choose sides if you want to engage the IBC and the regime of political parties. We are having elections, big elections in 2027. We need a body that can check the government, that can check the IBC. In terms of even procurement, we want PPLC, we want all the parties to be involved in the procurement of election material. If we don't have a strong secretariat, PPLC secretariat, we are going to be overlooked. We are not going to be involved. This is what I want to bring on board, so that people understand that the main stakeholder in all of this is not the IBC, it's not the registrar, is actually the political parties. Yes.
There's a very interesting question that always comes, particularly when there's public debate about political parties, and I want to hear your view around it, that political parties in some sense have lost public trust, or are a bit disconnected with public mood or public feeling. If you're elected chairperson, how would you help in restoring confidence in political parties?
Nobody has lost confidence in the political parties.
You're telling me
people have lost confidence in the IBC, for example. They might lose confidence in the parliament, but not in the political parties. Political parties, we are the ones who provide everything. We provide the members of parliament. As we're talking now, 22 members of the parliament are from our political parties. 48 members of the county assemblies, the national assemblies, are from the political parties. So people have confidence in us. What is there is just to develop cohesion of the political parties, so that we don't so much look at competition, but rather democracy. We are all coming in to provide vibrancy, some different ideology, and that must be supported. You've got the liberal, you've got the social, you've got the farmers, farmers party. Yes. They're all bringing different ideas. So if we understand that, if we understand the role of political parties, people mistake that role of political parties just to win elections. No, it's to provide this outlet, to provide all these ideals that are important for the growth and development of our nation.
I want you to look at that camera.
Yes.
The one there.
Yes.
For party leaders watching you tonight, particularly because I've heard you say severally, there's nothing like a small party or a big party. All parties stand an equal chance.
Correct.
But for political party leaders watching you tonight, unsure of the future of their parties, owing to the threat from the registrar of political parties, what is your assurance to them on that camera?
All party leaders, all leaders of political parties, we must remember that we must work together. It's us against the system. It's us against everybody else. If we unite ourselves, we will provide the change that this country needs. So let us all come together, as the 62 parties have done. Let us come together and let us beat the system. Let us be compliant. Let's provide the numbers, let's provide the offices, and we'll bring the change that our leaders, like the late Raila Amolo Odinga, wanted for this country. The change that our nationalists wanted for this country. We have that responsibility. We can't let our leaders, our past heroes down.
All right. The elections are next week?
They are next week.
Okay. We wish you all the very best.
Thank you very much.
The team at the PPLC and these parties that indeed have been facing this risk, obviously, from the registrar of political parties, and we wish you all the very best again in the steps you're making in terms of compliance. And thank you very much for your time tonight.
Thank you very much.
Time for us to switch gears to business. That's all for the interview.
I'm 10 years old, grade 5, and my talent is acting and dancing. The person who inspires me is Kolo Blue. He is a good dancer, and when I grow up, I want to be a good dancer like him.
Lea Premium Flour, nurturing the world. Available in a store near you.
Wiki hii kwenye mkulima
tunaangazia ufugaji wa ng'ombe wa maziwa.
Ng'ombe ni kama mwanadamu. Utamuona ukija kuwaona wanatabasamu, ama ukija unaona wanakuja wanataka kukusalimu, ama unaona sura yao. Ukiona sura imekunjana, unaona amedhoofika ama hana furaha, utajua huyu ng'ombe ni mgonjwa. Ni rahisi sana kugundua ng'ombe mgonjwa na yule si mgonjwa, kwa sababu wana mingi wao utabasamu. Hata wakilala unaona wana chew card, ile wazungu wanasema wana chew card. Unaona anachangamka.
Kisha matumizi ya biogas.
Tazama Mkulima kila Jumamosi saa 10:30 hapa KBC Channel 1
kwa uhondo kamili.
Thank you for keeping it Prime Edition time to get the latest in the world of business. My name is Betty Kiptum. Now, the much-awaited expansion of the Nairobi-Nakuru-Mau Summit Highway will start next month, ending years of delays and agony for motorists plying that route. President William Ruto says the road will be expanded into a 6-lane highway from Nairobi to Naivasha before being expanded into a 6-lane highway from Naivasha to Nakuru City. The expansion of the road through a public-private partnership has been pending since 2012 due to a lack of funds.
Last week, the Kenya National Highways Authority announced that a consortium made up of the National Social Security Fund and China Road and Bridge Corporation had won the tender to construct the 230 kilometers Rironi to Mau Summit and Naivasha via Mai Mahiu Super Highway in a move to enhance transport to Western Kenya. Kenha announced that the road will be done under a PPP model where road users will pay an average of 8 shillings per kilometer to drive on the highway. Today, President William Ruto says the construction of the road will be launched early November.
Hii barabara inatusumbua ya kwenda Nairobi. Msongamano wa magari. Watu wanalala kule Naivasha, wanalala Gilgil wakijaribu kutafuta barabara ya kwenda Nairobi, ama wengine wanaenda Malaba. Si ni kweli? Sasa tumekubaliana hii barabara yenu tunapanua. Tunaweka badala ya leni 2, tunaweka leni 6.
Speaking during the groundbreaking of the last mile connectivity program in Nakuru, President Ruto said the road is expected to enhance the economy of the region while creating business opportunities for many people around the road corridor.
Kuna vile Nakuru itabadilika. itabadilishwa na miradi na mipango ya maendeleo.
Rais anarudi mwezi ujao. Hii barabara ambayo kwa miaka mingi imeleta jam, imeleta accidents, ipanuliwe kutoka Rironi, Nakuru, Mau Summit, iwe dual carriageway, ndio tusongeshe uchumi wa Nakuru.
The president has announced a 2.6 billion shillings investment to connect more than 22,000 households to the national grid in a drive towards achieving universal access to power.
Kwa sababu leo pia tumeanzisha hapa Nakuru program ya kuunganisha wananchi kwa huduma ya stima. Sehemu zote, kama kuna nyumba bado haijawekwa stima, waziri yuko hapa, Gikaria yuko hapa, na Gikaria ndio chairman ya kamati ya bunge ambaye inasimamia mambo ya stima.
In efforts to empower the residents, President Ruto has revealed plans to construct affordable houses in Lanet, which will create jobs for over 2,000 youths, especially plumbers and construction workers. Weri Mujenga for Prime Edition.
Now, over 1,000 women-led green businesses across 8 African countries are set to receive a major boost through the Women Entrepreneurship for Africa program, Onike Okolo, who is a Policy and Partnerships Officer at the Tony Elumelu Foundation, says each beneficiary will access more than 650,000 shillings in seed capital and specialized training in bookkeeping, marketing and leveraging digital technology to expand market access.
Women entrepreneurs in Kenya and across the African continent continue to face systemic challenges, including limited access to finance, digital literacy gaps and minimal exposure to regional and international markets.
You know, now we are moving to a digital world. What are the digital spaces that the women entrepreneurs can be in so that they can improve and increase their markets, not just within the counties that they're operating in, but also across borders? What trade information, what trade treaties are there? Then they can know about this and they can be able to, you know, grow their businesses.
The Women Entrepreneurship for Africa program seeks to close these gaps by equipping women with practical business skills, mentorship, and financial support to help them grow scalable and sustainable ventures.
What this program will do is help us spotlight entrepreneurs who are really creating innovative solutions to tackle these issues, and that will eventually help us mitigate some of the climate change issues that we're currently facing and really build a better and safer world for our young people.
The initiative focuses on green growth sectors, waste management, circular economy and smart agriculture, aligning with Africa's broader climate resilience and inclusive growth agenda.
The reason for this application drive sessions is really to boost the number of applicants, because obviously that has a direct correlation to how many entrepreneurs will eventually be selected. So for Kenyans, we encourage all applicants to go ahead, finish your application so that it increases your chances of being on the program.
The future is green, and as such, women are ready to tap into the green business, and they need capacity building, and as such, those who are going to qualify in this new cohort for this particular program, not only will they get seed capital of an equivalent of 650,000 shillings, but they'll also get to learn on how to do bookkeeping and to leverage on technology to expand their businesses. I'm Regina Manyara reporting for KBC Channel 1.
Now, Kenya is engaging young economists in shaping the country's next phase of socio-economic transformation in a bid to develop the next phase of the Vision 2030 economic blueprint. Director of the Economic and Macro Pillar at the Vision 2030 Delivery Board, Ismail Maruf, says the ongoing engagements with young people underscore the board's commitment to inclusive and participatory policy planning that supports long-term structural transformation and economic resilience. Speaking during an engagement with university students on the development of a new socio-economic blueprint, Maruf says the current document has managed to push Kenya's economy into the bracket of a middle-income country, with the new blueprint expected to push the country into a newly industrialized economy that is highly driven by technology and innovation. The Vision 2030 blueprint was launched in 2009 by the government, focusing on 6 pillars to drive the economic transformation of Kenya.
Today's corporate visit has been one of the enablers of this mission, where we came to learn about what the Delivery Secretariat for the Vision 2030 does and to see what how they are able to implement and to carry the vision of the country in their shoulders. And the corporate visit has been nothing but a success. We've been able to engage with the team being led by the directors, and we've learned a lot about what we aspire as a nation, what we see ourselves growing to become as a nation. And we've learned a lot. The session has been really productive to our members.
What has really stood out for me in this session is how the government is taking a turn to engage more youths, to involve more youths in this implementation process for a better Kenya, a better and sustainable country.
Need to be included in the development of this country, and this is the starting point where we want to tap into their minds what they think the government should implement, what they think we should prioritize as a country so that their voices are heard.
The Kenya Revenue Authority is banking on its marine unit to boost revenue from trading activities around the Lake Victoria ecosystem. The unit, which was launched in April this year, is supposed to help the tax collector seal maritime loopholes used by criminals to evade tax obligations. The authority realized over 4.8 million shillings in the financial year 2024-2025, but it remains confident to improve the figure by the end of June 2026. Wycliffe Okech with the report from Kisumu.
For many years, Kenyan waters have been used by criminals to evade taxation due to a lack of strong enforcement measures. But in the last 5 years, the government has focused on sealing maritime loopholes to boost collections. Already, the Kenya Revenue Authority is working with the Kenyan Coast Guard to nab tax cheats in the Indian Ocean and Lake Victoria.
It's part of the wider strategy which we identified earlier on as the Lake Victoria Transport Improvement System, which is a multi-agency approach encompassing the KPA, the KRA, KMA, and all those agencies which are in this the waterway.
The government is currently undertaking critical developments on the Kisumu port in deliberate efforts to scale up blue economy growth on and around Lake Victoria.
Now the message is this: the East African community, we do not have duty paid between the countries of East Africa. But when we intercept the goods and the people who have tried to use shortcuts here and there, it's when they realize that actually they have not saved anything. Even if they had come through the officers, we don't have duties in the East African community.
According to the KRA head of Western Region, Dominic Kengara, the authority is banking on its marine unit to deter illicit trade on Lake Victoria through cooperation with the beach management units as well as border management committees.
Just like the roadblocks and the surveillance activities which are done overland, Marine does the same exact roles, but in the lake.
In the last financial year 2024-2025, the authority collected over 4.8 million shillings in revenue through customs and recoveries on Lake Victoria. For Channel 1 from Kisumu County, I am Wycliffe Okech.
And Wycliffe's story there brings a close to business news. And of course, Bernardo Kumu right there on your screen, ready to bring you the sports news. My name is Betty Kiptum. Over to you, Bernard.
Thank you so much, Betty, and thank you for staying with us. It is indeed time for the latest from the sports desk. We begin with soccer, where the national women's soccer team, Harambee Starlets, is expected back in the country this night from their victorious outing in Senegal, where they qualified for their second Women's Africa Cup of Nations after a 4-1 aggregate win over the Gambia.
Starlets had led 3-1 in the first leg of the final qualifying round, played at the Nyao National Stadium last Friday to seal their position in the return leg via a solitary goal, which was headed in the 56th minute by the experienced Mona Halima Adam. The national women's soccer team made their first appearance in the Women's African Cup of Nations in 2016 under head coach David Ouma, where they were eliminated in the group stage after losing to Mali, Ghana and Nigeria. The squad back then comprised of, among others, Dorcas Shikombe and Corazon Aquino, who were also members of the current squad that ensured a second appearance in the WAFCON under the head coach Belino Demba, who has been relentless in a pursuit of glory after missing out on qualification last year.
It has been 9 years, so we kept on reminding ourselves that it has been 9 years. How long can we wait? So the girls were really spirited, the technical bench awesome. We worked together as a team, but we thank God so much because he came through for us as a country and as a team.
This time around, they made sure to eliminate Tunisia 1-0 on aggregate in their first qualifying round before their second and final round against the Gambia, whom they beat 4-1 on aggregate to seal their place in the next year's final in Morocco, slated for the 17th of March to that of April. Tanzania are also through and will be making their third appearance in the continental tournament, while Cape Verde and Malawi will be debutants in the 16-team final that will also feature powerhouses Nigeria, Ghana, Zambia, South Africa, Algeria and host Morocco. At stake in the 2026 WAFCON is a place in the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup for those who reach the semi-finals, with 2 more heading to the intercontinental playoffs to try their luck.
Thank you, Dan, for that story. Still on the national team, so the national men's soccer team, Harambee Stars, is set to play 2 international friendly matches in Antalya, Turkey during next month's FIFA window, scheduled between 10th and 18th of November. Now, Kenya will face Madagascar on the 14th of November before taking on Comoros 4 days later. On the 18th, head coach Benny McCarthy has named his final squad for the fixtures, with young talent Aldrin Kibet receiving his first senior national team call-up. Now, the creative midfielder's inclusion comes on the back of impressive performances at club level, that's at Celta Vigo, and with the youth national teams. Also included in the squad is Zamalek's defender Baron Ocheng, another promising young talent. Making a notable return to the squad is Ovelo Ocheng, who rejoins the national fold after an extended absence, bring pace and attacking flair to the Stars forward line. The 2 friendly matches will act as build-up towards upcoming competitive assignments for the national soccer team, who recently wrapped up their FIFA World Cup qualifying campaign with the 4th finish in their group, won by Cote d'Ivoire, and Gabon, who finished as runners-up, head into the intercontinental playoffs, where they face Nigeria in their opening match in the mini-tournament semi-final on the 13th of November in Rabat, Morocco. Cameroon and the Democratic Republic of Congo will meet in the second semi-final, according to the Confederation of Africa Football CAF. Now, the finals will be played on the 16th of November, where the winner will proceed to the Inter-Confederations playoffs in March next year, in a quest for Africa's 10th spot in the finals. FC Leopards staged a dramatic comeback to claim a 2-1 win against Shabana FC at Gusii Stadium in a tightly contested league match played today. Now, Shabana dominated the early stages, with Austin Odongo finding the back of the net to give them a 1-0 advantage at halftime. FC Leopards, however, fought back in the second half to level the score in the 72nd minute. With just 2 minutes remaining, Ingwe sealed the win with a late goal to complete the turnaround. The result leaves FC Leopards to 4th place on the log with 9 points, while Shabana sits 7th with 7 points and remains winless in the past 4 matches. In other midweek results, Tusk overcame Kariobangi Sharks 2-1. So did Kakamega Homeboys against APS Bomet. The action resumes tomorrow, where Gor Mahia will take on Madara United Kasarani, while Posta Rangers will take on Moranga Seal. The former champions Gor Mahia will be aiming to continue their winning ways after a 3-0 victory over Posta Rangers last weekend.
Tumefanya kila kitu, naweza sema pengine this is our lean moment, but we'll rise up. So to me, naweza sema just encourage the boys. Saizi kutakuwa na a lot of criticism. Kuna wale mashabiki, I think wao wanakuja tu kupiga kelele kwa kiwanja. So mimi naweza sema we will rise up. Kuna wakati tulikuwa chini, wakati kama una tuka rise up.
Kiangalia na wachezaji wengine vile wamecheza, si ati wamebahatisha kushinda, wamekuwa wanadeserve kushinda. Unaona, kwa sababu wamecheza, wamekuwa vipindi vyote mbili na wamekuwa juu. Na nashukuru sana, at least work out na build on that, then tutakuwa watu watarajia mazuri.
Nimemkuta Julius Masaba analeta minus uzuri.
And that definitely on the Kenya Premier League front, that's how we wind up. But remember that Kakamega Homeboys, with that particular win, they go on, they open a 3-point lead at the top of the Kenya Premier League standings. That's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. I hand you back to Doreen and JJ.
As Okumu winds up, that's also how we wind up.
Yeah, we're winding up. Thank you very much for catching up with Prime Edition. My name is John Jacob Kuria. Good night.
And I'm Doreen Arange. Caroline Jeroge has been our sign language interpreter. Good night.
Tushinde.com. Cheza safe, cheza smart. Gambling is addictive, not for persons under the age of 18 years.
Dosi amelala. Sukuma moja. Wewe pia ndio muoga. Ndio maana Master Demi alikupita. Demi haiko nipita bwana. Mimi najaza entry ticket zangu. Wewe hata unajua namba ya kusenda. Si ni star 419 hash. Option. Ni Probox. Bwana finya hiyo kitu. Mfinye. Finya hiyo kitu. Nifinye. Finya hiyo kitu. Nifinye. Finya bwana.
Iko Probox kwa star 419 hash option 3. Fresh design ndani ya light commercial vehicle. Cargo space ni kubwa na kama haitoshi iko foldable back seat for more space. Kamera ni mbili mbele na kamera ni mbili nyuma. Injini yako ni 1500cc. Nguvu na picking guaranteed. Hii itakusabu. Whether ni familia, biashara, camping, ita come through. Fungua kitu. Fungua kitu. Fungua kitu. Fungua kitu. Wewe, sasa ni saa ngapi unafungua hiyo gate? Ni watchman alikuwa anatoka na gari yake. Watchman? Ametoa gari wapi? Ya wasi amesinda kwa star 419 hash. Iko Probox kwa star 419 hash option 3. Cheza safe, cheza smart. Gambling is addictive, not for persons under the age of 18 years.
It's art, it's culture, it's fun, it's attitude.
As you can see with me, I have this handkerchief. And is it really a handkerchief or is it?
My name is Kevin Kasioki. Please join me each and every Friday at 8 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
So the conversation today, we want to first of all understand, how do you raise a boy to become a man?
So the best prediction of the quality of masculinity tomorrow is a father's today.
What are some of the things that can be done to raise this boy actually to become a man, irrespective of his background?
Take initiative, live responsibly, lead sacrificially, love faithfully, and leave a worthwhile legacy.